So for the next section, we have these three little shapes that's on the inside. So we've got these three little teardrops that flows into the next section at the bottom. So we're going to bring these ones out first because we want them higher than this part. We're going to do a little bit of a detail on this design, just a bit of a scratching detail. We don't want to lift it up at any height. It's just going to be flat. And then we're going to do the same stepping down process as we did here. So first we do those teardrops. So we're going to back onto our lino. We're still working on the front of our pewter. And when we do the teardrops, we need to look at which one is going to be the highest one. So obviously this front one here, which is in the center, I want that to be the highest one. So we're going to start with that one, then work our way downwards. And when we move on later to the next section that sits below this section, we're going to do this one first and then we do this one. So we've got a little bit of a ridge here again. So from the front of our pewter on our lino, we do that first central teardrop. We use our Teflon tip tool with a medium pressure and we draw the outline. And I'm going to do the same on the other wing. And then we can flatten. And then we can tidy up. So I've got enough height out of that, so we can immediately now move on with the next little teardrop. So we go back onto our lino. We're still working on the front of our pewter. And we can draw in the next teardrop. We can remove the lino and once again we can flatten from the front. And then we can tidy up. So now you can really use the sharp tip of your Teflon tool to get into the tiny corners and flatten straight up against the edge of your high raised area. Then we can continue with the last little teardrop, and it's just that little curve. And now we can flatten again. So we remove our lino and we flatten from the front. And then we can tidy up. There we go. So now we can continue with the rest of our design. So for this little triangular shape, what I want to do is I want to scratch out the outer triangle, and I'm going to leave the inner triangle smooth, and I'm going to leave this area smooth as well. So to do a scratching design, I'm going to use my scratcher, which is just my normal 0.5mm ball tool. And on my hard surface, from the front of my pewter, I'm just going to color in that shape. So I'm first going to redefine the outlines. And that inside triangle. And then I'm just going to scratch and color in that frame. And then I'm going to do another scratching in the opposite direction. So I've got this crisscross scratching pattern. And then we can do the same on the other side. There we go. So now we can lift up this part of the wing. So we're first going to do the top section, lift that up in the same manner as we did these steps. So working on the front of our pewter, on our liner, we do the outline of that first top line. And I'm using a medium to a hard pressure. And then we can flatten. So we remove our lino and we flatten from the front of our pewter on our hard surface, and we flatten towards our design. And then we can tidy up with the Teflon tool. Now we can do the next little line. So back onto our lino, so we can do the next step. Still working on the front of our pewter. And then we can flatten on our hard surface using our paper stump. And we can do the next one. So back onto our lino, still working from the front of our pewter. And then we can flatten. So we remove our lino and we flatten with our paper stump. Again, we're working on the front of our pewter, and we're almost done. We're on the second last line. Okay, and now we can do the last one. Back onto our liner. And now I'm going to do an overall outline to get all the little edges nice and smooth. And I'm using a medium to a hard pressure, not too hard that I push straight through my pewter. And now we can flatten again. So on the hard surface, we can flatten around. There we go. So that's the next section of our wing done. I'm not going to do any height from the back. I'm quite happy with the flow of the wing. So I've got a nice high part here and then I'm flowing down. And this little section will still lift up when we do the next part. So I'm not going to lift it up from the back.